everyone, Karen here. Today we're going to be making the 6x6 secret message card. And it starts off by saying Merry Christmas. And then when you swoop it around, it says, and have a Happy New Year. And this card is very impressive. And you put it on a regular card base. So you can make a regular inside on the, whatever you want on the inside. But it's really quite simple. You only need 4 pieces of 3x6 paper. And it depends on how you cut them and put them together is how you end up with this really kind of cool fold. So let me get this camera turned around and I will show you how we did it. All right, to get started, we have to start with the mechanism that's going to flip. So this is one that is completed in 4 different colors, and I did it this way so you can see exactly what's going on here. So you can put it on your card this way or this way, depending if you want it to flip to the left or to the right. So if you were to start up here like this, we see purple, we see red, and then when this comes over, it then becomes orange and green. So this is what's happening. So I'm going to build one in 4 colors so you can see what it is, and then we're going to make the one for the card out of white cardstock. All right, so you're going to need 4 pieces of 3x6. 2 are going to be cut exactly the same, and then there's 2 that are going to be different. So the 2 that are the same, you're going to take along the 6-inch side. You're going to come in 1.5 inches and cut down 1.5 inches. And you will need 2 of those. And I'm going to do this when I actually make the one for the card. And then for the other ones, you're going to need 1 3x6. On the 3-inch side, you're going to come down 1.5 inches. And then you're going to make 1.5 inches cut. On the other one, you will go along the 3-inch side, and it will work this way. Go along the 3-inch side, and you're going to cut in at 1.5 inches, 4.5 inches. And that's what we have to do. So then we will start. You will take the 2 that are cut along the 3-inch line, and you will put them together like this. And if your lines are cut correctly, it will be flush on the sides. You will end up with your long flap on top, and you will have your short flap on the bottom. You will then take one of the ones that's cut along the 6-inch line, and the first one will come in from the right-hand side, and you will slide it all the way in like that, so it's now flush. You will then lift up the flap you just put in your original paper, so there'll be 2 flaps here that are 1.5 inches long. Pull those up, and this one will slide in from the left like this. And that is all there is to it, and it will now spin. Now to hold it in place, we're going to put some glue on here. So let me grab some stick glue, since I'm just going to do this to hold it for our purposes here. So if you notice in here, when you start to turn this at an angle, your corner comes up to here. So you don't want to put any glue down here. So you can, and you don't need to glue the whole thing, but if you glue across the top here, that's really all you need to do. But you just keep in mind there is a corner here, so when you build one, if it getting caught, you may be catching this corner here. So we're just going to tap it to make sure it's all lined up. Press it together. So then we're going to lift, let's see. So I'm going to hold it the way it would be in the card. So it's going to be like this. And this turns this way. And I'm just doing it this way because people will grab it with their right hand. I'm left-handed, but I try not to do things left-handed. So I'm going to do this as if a right-handed person's grabbing hold of it. And here again, you have another point. So when we lift this up here to glue, we're just going to glue over here. You can glue all the way down to here, but you want to make sure you stay away from where this point is going to cross. So we're going to glue here. We're going to flip it over. And we're going to glue here. Now here, this flap, the catch point is over here. So we're just going to put some glue here on the end. And we're going to do that. And that is all there is. Now this will move freely around. Now I'm going to grab a card blank for a minute to show you what I'm talking about. So you can put it this way and have it fold up. You can put it on the bottom, have it fold down. You can put it this way have it fold down, or on the bottom and have it fold down. It's completely up to you which way you want to put it on the card once you have it made. You could even put it this way if you wanted to and have your message be vertical. So you can put it on the card any way you want once you have it put together. All right, so now that we have done this and put it in the 4 colors, let's make our card. Now that I showed you how the card is going to go together using the colored paper, let's cut the paper we're actually going to use in our card. So let me move this down here. So I have 4 pieces of paper that are 3 by 6. 2 of them are going to be cut the same way, so we will cut those together. So they need to be cut 1.5 inches in and 1.5 inches down. So I'm going to take this, put it in my trimmer at 1.5 inches. I'm going to take my blade up to 1.5 inches. I'm going to press down and go up. And I was able to go through both papers. So now I'm going to take the other one, I'm going to put it lengthwise at 1.5 inches because all these cuts need to be in the center of the paper. The paper is 3 inches across, so 1.5 inches is the middle. And I'm going to come down to the 1.5 inches. And we need one of those. Now the last one we need, we're going to put it back in at 1.5 inches. With the 6 inches coming down this way. And we're going to come down 4.5. And that is all there is to it. All right, so here's all the pieces for our card. So we have our decorative pieces to make it a Christmas card. I have my 6 by 6 card blank, which is what this fits on the best. And then I have our 4 pieces. These are the 2 that are cut along the 6-inch side at 1.5 inches. Here is the one that has the 1.5 inches. And here's the one that has the 4.5-inch slot. So we're going to take these 2, put these 2 together, tap them, make sure they're all lined up. Good. Now we're going to come in from the left, under the flap, under here. Now I'm going to lift up the 2 tabs, 1, 2. And you can see why I did it in colors is to show you with all white paper, it's a little bit harder. So hopefully it was a little bit more obvious using the colored paper. So tap, 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 make sure everything's all lined up. All right, I think we're all good. Now this time I'm going to use my favorite Collall glue. And bring this down closer to me. All right, tap, tap, nice and even. I'm going to pull this back, put some glue. All right, make sure we're all nice and even. All right. Now I will come over here and glue this tab down on the end. Give it another tap, make sure we're all nice and straight. Flip it over. I will put some glue here. If you want to, you can turn the card to make sure you're not causing a catch point. Yep, we are good to go. Not even close. And glue it down. And there is our mechanism. All done. It is that simple. So now when we attach it to the card, decide which way we want to do it. So this is my lever. So I'm going to put it on the card this way. Now when you attach it, you need to be careful about what you're attaching because this has to slide. So we don't want to put anything over here that's going to affect it. So let's flip it over to look on the back. So we can see we can't put any glue here or over here. All of our glue has to be on this side here. So we're going to glue here and glue here. How do we put some down here at the end? Make sure we're not catching it. Oh, that's going to be close there. Let's wipe that off. All right, that should be good now. Make sure our card is opening the way we want it to. All right, and this will go on the bottom. We'll tap, 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 because it is 6 by 6. It's the same size as the card. All right, we'll give that a moment to dry. All right, let's see. All right, our mechanism is clear. And we are good to go to decorate. So what I was thinking for this, I'm going to put a square here. Now this square here, we have to talk about this for a second. When you turn this mechanism, this can be decorated all you want because it's going to slide under here. This part here can be decorated up until that point. But what's over here needs to be flat. You don't want to put a lot of layers there. So if you want to make something on foam, you can put it here and you can put it here. But don't put anything that is on foam or real thick or lots of layers on this side because it will catch it up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm thinking it's going to be Merry Christmas. We'll put Merry here and Christmas here. Then when we flip it around, it will say, and a Happy New Year. And I have some ornaments that I'm going to put on top like that. So I'm going to ink blend these papers to make them green, to give them a little bit of color. So let me grab my mat. And our papers. So we have Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, 3 ornaments. That one's done. Here is my ink, and let me grab my Apple Mint ink. So I'm going to use Gina K Apple Mint. It's a nice light green. And I'm just going to lightly go around. Not putting a lot of pressure here. Using my silicone mat, so I'm going to use a little more pressure. Use my silicone mat so nothing slides around on me. And I'm going to leave the center white. I don't want it all exactly the same color. So we're just going to go around. We'll take our Merry Christmas. Do a little bit. Yeah, because this, I actually used my computer to print these out because you don't want anything too thick. You want it nice and thin, one layer, so nothing catches. There we go. That is all the ink blending for this card. All right. Roll this up. All right, bring back our card in. All right, have it sideways, so this is the way I want it to open. Make sure we're going in the right direction here. All right, so the first square will be up here, and this one I can do whatever I want to. So I'm going to open my glue and put this down. Like that. All right, this one will get glued onto the next square. Now this one, I need to make sure I get more of the edges done so it doesn't catch. So I'm going to line it up here. It looks centered. Now let's check this, make sure we didn't cause a catch point. That looks good. Just need to make sure this is glued down really well. All right, so the next square will go here. Now with this one here, you can do 2 squares that are 1.5 inches. Oh, so this square is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 because this is a 6-inch card. So half of it is now 3. So to have the little bit of border, I went 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Let me slide this a little bit. That looks crooked. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, so this is a 6-inch card. So to put 2 of these squares across, you want 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now for down here, you end up with 2 spaces that are 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. Let's see, 3 be 1 1/2, 1 1/4. But what I want to do is I want this to fit right flush up against each other. So I took a 2 3/4 square and just cut it in half, because I want this to be right up against each other. I don't want space here in between. So this one is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. And this will, of course, be on this side. But on this side here, there's also a line. But I'm going to put one big square, but I'm only going to glue this bottom section here, because I need it to be able to come up here, because when you turn this, see, your corner comes up here, so you don't want to glue anything on that side. So if you want to put a full square on this side, only glue the bottom. We're going to line this up. All right, make sure I didn't cause any catch points here, which I do have one here. I need to put more glue on this corner. I didn't get all the way down to the corner here. All right. Just hold that for a second. Okay, that fixed that. Now it's moving freely. All right, so now the Merry and the Christmas will go on here. And here again, we need to make sure we get glue all the way to the edge. Spread out that glue. And I'm going to put it right flush here. We line it up. So I'm centering it with the top and the side here. And Christmas will go on the bottom. And I will bring that up right to the line. Let me pick this up so I can see where my line is. All right, make sure I'm not causing a catch point here. Make sure that corner is down really good. Now see how it caught on here a little bit? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a little piece of thin foam on this side to make sure this stays raised. So I'm just going to use a little piece of the 1/16 foam. And I'm just going to stick it over here on this side. So I'm going to just bend this down. I'm going to put it over here. Make sure I'm clear. Yep, not even close to it. And that way we'll make sure that this doesn't get too close to the, it leaves a little space there. There we go. That should, even if when it goes in the envelope, it's still going to want to raise up a little bit. Now, no catching. There we go. Much better. So if you want to do the whole square here, instead of the 2 small ones, just have something standing by. Probably even a couple pieces of cardstock underneath would probably do the same thing. So now it goes. All right, so now all we have left to do is to put on our ornaments. So I'm thinking since red is here, I'll put red here and then these two bluish ones here. So this one can go on foam. So we'll put some foam on the back of here. And this one can have foam. And this one, as long as I put it up high enough, it can have foam. All right. So let's put this one here. We'll have this one going in that direction. We'll put some foam on this one. Oh, I may have a little visitor here shortly. I can hear my granddaughter outside. So let's get this finished. And we'll put this one this way. Let's make sure we didn't cause a catch point. Nope, and we are good. All right, so now we flip this down and we put on the Happy New Year. Once again, I'm going to spread out the glue. That. I'm going to line this up flush with the bottom here. That way the two tops are the same. All right, give that a moment to dry. Now it does leave you this square here. So there you can decorate. You can put anything you want on this square. If you want to leave it plain, if you want to put some wording on here, I think, let's see. What shall we put there? So now we have Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Not fun? So I think I will just put another square here. Let me grab one. All right, bring in my mat. Color this one green real quick like the other ones. And we can put this up here. This will have to be glued down really flat. And I think I will leave it plain for now. I may add something to it later on, depending on who I'm sending this to. And our card is finished. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And you still have this on a regular card blank, which opens up. They can stand their card up like this. It will open up, and then you can put whatever you want on the inside. There is one more thing you can do to this card. If you think the person you're giving it to is not going to be able to figure out that this slides around, you can take a little paper. Now this one is a 1/2 inch by 1 inch. Folded it in half. I stamped an arrow on it, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. I'm just going to take the tab, put it on the top here in the middle, and just hold it there. Now this is something where I like to use a clip, and the clips I like to use are quilting clips. I actually got them in a whole box. Okay, my box, it's a cute little box, dogs on it, and it has, I don't know, I think like 40 or something in there. And I really like these clips with crafting because they're really great for holding things down. And if you sew and you've never used quilting clips, oh my gosh, it will change your world. First time I used quilting clips, I was like, yeah, that's a lot easier. So I will just let that sit there until it dries. And I think it's pretty much dry now. So now people will have an idea that when they get this card, they need to rotate it inside. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you give it a try, but definitely make one of these in color so you have a reference. It makes a little bit more sense that way. If you like this, give me a like and subscribe, and you'll get other videos as I do them through the Christmas season, because we're going to have some Advent fun with Pink and Main and Crafter's Companion. And until next time, stay crafty.